the United States has the best collection of track and field athletes in the world. And that is not up for debate anymore. At the 2023 World Championships, they dominated the medal count with 29 medals in total. 12 of them were gold, and no other nation in the world had more than 12 medals of any color. Led by sprinters Sha'Carri Richardson and Noah Lyles, they owned the sprinting events again. Because in 2022, the men of Team USA swept the 100 and the 200 meter dashes with 6 different men. But you don't win 29 medals by only sprinting. Many people don't even know that right now, America has reigning Olympic champions in the women's discus, the men's shot put, the women's pole vault, and the women's 800. So don't get it twisted. America does track and field. But if you try to attend a professional track and field event in the United States, don't expect to see a lot of fans in the stands. I'm not making this up. The New York City Grand Prix is run at a stadium that only seats 5,000 people, and they don't even sell out the joint. So why does a nation that is clearly the best in the world at a sport not really care that much to watch it, both in person and on TV? Well, here's the truth without Photoshop. The way America does track and field at the pro level is entirely broken. And if you really want people to care about it, we better get to work on fixing it. And this is why. Before I go any further, I need to make it abundantly clear that America has more than enough talent to entertain any track fans. Because we've got more talent than anyone else in the world, and it ain't even close. America has won the Olympic track and field medal count every single year since the year 2000. And it could have been longer than that, but I just got tired of Googling it. The success of Noah Lyles as the first triple world champion since Usain Bolt makes him the LeBron James of sprinting, since Bolt is clearly Michael Jordan. And Grant Holloway is arguably the greatest 110 hurdler of all time. He just completed a three-peat as the world champion, and his career is only half over. And remember, the American men swept the sprints in the 100 and the 200 in 2022. But the men who weren't on that list were Christian Coleman, who was the world champion in 2019, and Ronnie Baker, who was an Olympic finalist in 2021. And you can't even argue that Coleman fell off, because he's tied for the fastest time in the world in 2023 in the 100. And of course, I could keep going and mention that Gabby Thomas right now is faster than Allison Felix ever was. Or bring up how Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is right now making her case to potentially become the best women's track athlete the world has ever seen. By now, you should get the point. America is loaded with talent, but all the athletes I just mentioned normally gotta go overseas to be truly appreciated. The Diamond League and the Continental Tour are the best thing track and field has going on right now, at least at the pro level. So if you're American and you want to go pro, those are your only real options to compete. And if you don't get invited to either, you're gonna end up running at open college meets. I'm not making this up, that's all you got. Now consider that in 2023 alone, Noah Lyles competed in Bermuda, France, Jamaica, and Great Britain. Not to mention the USA, of course, for the USA Championships. And then he went to the World Championships in Hungary. He left from there to compete in Switzerland and go back on the pro circuit. But at his final competitive race in Zurich, he competed in a stadium that holds 26,000 fans. But keep in mind, he also ran in New York City, the most populated city in America, and it's not even close. And that stadium only held 5,000 fans, and everybody didn't even show up. America's track athletes are appreciated all around the world, but nothing is the same the moment they get back home. That is probably the reason why Noah Lyles said what he said about the NBA in the first place, because all he practically does is compete internationally. In fact, his bank account depends on it. But that's another topic that I've already shared my thoughts on, so there's no need to go back on it now. What I am trying to say is that the rest of the world has proven that track and field can entertain fans. But I also know what the answer is, because we see it all around us, on ESPN and beyond, because America doesn't do sports like the rest of the world. We made up our own system, so any sport that actually wants to reach the fans is going to need to conform to it. Because keeping it a buck with you, nobody really knows what's going on in track and field right now. The American sports that work are all set up the same way. It could be the NFL, the NBA, or even the MLB. And it starts with drafting most of the athletes from the American college system. We develop the talent through the schools, all the way to the top of D1, and then let the professional teams take their pick of whoever they think is the best. Those new players every year get added to a team, and those teams compete for a championship, like the Super Bowl. So every fan knows what the end goal is, and every game up until that point is just a formality. There's a whole lot of fans that don't even tune into football until the Super Bowl, and they do the same thing for the NBA Finals. And keep in mind, it's all about star power. So if Patrick Mahomes goes up against Aaron Rodgers, it's an automatic classic. It doesn't even matter that much what uniforms they're wearing, because in the NBA, the top players switch teams all the time. If you are a fan, then you know who the players are, you know where they came from, and you even know where they're going, which is hopefully to the championship. And they do all of this representing your city when they do it. It's simple enough to follow, because we all know how it works. But that's not how the rest of the world does it. Soccer in America is basically a failure, and Messi coming to Miami likely won't change it that much. The MLS, which is what the American Pro Soccer League is actually called, copies most of its structure from the rest of the world. That's why people don't know what's going on, because we don't know what a club development team is, and it's way too complicated for me to explain right now. College soccer is a thing, but I have no idea what that has to do with the players in the MLS. I don't know when their playoffs are, what the championship is called, or who's playing in it. I bring this all up because track and field in America is kinda like that, but worse, because the only thing we've got going on is the American Track League. It is a fact that what most track fans are left with is watching YouTube videos of races that already happened somewhere else around the world, most of the time. I'm not saying that America can't fix the problem. I actually have my own ideas on how to do it. But before you can fix a problem, you've got to admit that you have one in the first place. Noah Lyles said what he said because most people don't know much about track and field in America, because he is overseas most of the times when he's racing anyway. So let's be honest. Track and field in America is in a state of crisis, even if we have the best team in the world that doesn't. I'm Coach Rob, and thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to see more content like this, then please like and subscribe.